Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Blade Clan. We haven't thought of a full name yet for the title.
We're going to get around to it. Eventually, there's going to be a title to this, and maybe even some an opening like we used to have. But for now, whatever. Because you know what? That shit's in the past. Which is a segue. Which is from the future. Because segues,
Yes. Segues.
So we're going to talk about today fast food, because the McRib's back again. Maybe not where you are, but around the corner there's a big banner. It says McRib is back. And if it wasn't for the fact that the neighborhood McDonald's is infested with flies, I would totally have a McRib in my hands right now while I'm talking to you.
Yeah. You know, rumor has it that the McRib pops up when pork prices are low. McDonald's capitalizes. Although, my theory is that it's not actually made out of pork.
Soylent McRib?
I was thinking Chinese newspaper.
Oh. It's a little too tasty for that, though.
Get barbecue sauce.
Yeah. That got me thinking, though, about stuff like fast food things that haven't caught back on. Like, remember Wendy's used to have the salad bar?
Yeah.
That, like, the one little section with the salad shit and the pudding, and the other section had taco shells and taco shit.
Yeah.
And, in looking back on it, back in the 80's, just having shit sitting out like that for days, nobody even thought about it.
Yeah. It's not that they didn't know better, it's more like in the 80's, nobody gave a shit about any of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what? This taco meat's only been out for a week. What do you mean we should replace it?
Yeah. You could look at anything in the 80's, really, and it just reflects how little shits anybody gave about anything.
Especially when you look at the clothes.
Yeah.
Bright colors, puffy everything, armbands and headbands, and fucking hair sticking out the side of their heads. I mean, look at Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah. Or their visions of the future, where everybody's still dressed like that.
Yes, like that, but futuristic. By the way, next year, hoverboards, metal skull caps, self-zipping adjusting jackets, and self-lacing Nikes, which they actually already got that figured out.
Yeah, also the hoverboards they sort of have figured out. Did you see the thing on that? It can only run on copper. Yeah. They don't mention that in the, big headline. Anyway, though, let's take our hoverboards back a little bit and look at some old fast food that they don't offer anymore.
Yeah. And this would also be the part, if this were our old show, where we'd be cutting in clips from commercials and pictures of shit. But no. Just no. I mean, we could probably still do pictures or something, but fuck it, no. You know what? You want to listen to us talk, that's why you're here. You don't want to listen to us talk, you want to look at fancy pictures, go Google this shit while we're talking, because then you can still hear us, you're not missing anything, and you can see what we're talking about. Like right now, go Google the McDLT. Fuck yeah, back in the days when they had styrofoam packing. I don't know, you look like you're going to say something, so I shut the fuck up and let you talk, and you just point. But anyway, McDLT, you got the bottom half of your burger bun and the meat right here. And in a compartment off to the side, there was the lettuce and tomato in the other half of the bun, so that theoretically, the heat from the burger wouldn't fuck with your lettuce and tomato. Then you just smack them together and eat it, and your lettuce stays crispy.
I miss styrofoam stuff. It's all paper now.
It's true.
It doesn't have that personal feel, that squishiness.
Paper or light cardboard. Like McDonald's does all the little flappy open cardboard boxes.
Yeah. Yeah. God love that styrofoam.
Yeah.
Even maybe not going back quite so far, but remember when everybody jumped on the Atkins bandwagon and they offered everything without bread?
Some places still do that shit. You can actually go to Carl's Jr. and get the low carb burger, which is just basically big fucking meat patty with 2 pieces of lettuce.
Yeah. Isn't it more like the the secret menu type stuff for most of these places, though? Because they don't really...
Yeah, I mean, a lot of places offer a low carb secret menu option, but in Carl's Jr., it's actually right there on the front. You just walk in and it's like, have a low-carb version with lettuce instead of a bun. Like,
yeah.
Guess it'll keep your hands clean.
Here's a helpful tip. You know, Burger King, they actually still sell the veggie burger. They don't advertise it.
How is that helpful? That's disgusting.
It's helpful to people who, for whatever reason, still want to eat a cheeseburger, but not want to eat one with an animal in it.
You know, I never knew Weird Al was a vegetarian.
Really?
Yeah, found that out when I was watching Cupcake Wars.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. The guy who invented the Twinkie Wiener sandwich is a vegetarian.
So he could go to Burger King and order the veggie sandwich.
There you go.
Although, you know, it's not made out of the same stuff. See, my wife ordered one of those after I told her that, you know, that you could, because she used to love that when that was back out, like in the early 2000s.
So they gave her a greasy sponge with some chicken flavoring?
It still kind of looked burger-like, except the patty's like twice as small as it used to be. And it used to actually have vegetables in it, I remember.
Like chunks.
Like little chunks of, I think it had mushrooms or something in it, I don't remember. These days, it's like there's a little hockey puck that, like, I guess it's just completely made out of soy.
Although, for the most part, that's true of a lot of burger places. I have noticed a decretion in the size of burger patties.
Yeah. You know, speaking of, like, food from the past, even though this is still fairly recently, did you ever hear about Burger King's, like, Big King?
Yeah, for like 5 seconds, and then no one talked about it again.
Well, there's a reason for that. Because the Big King was, like, this big. I ordered a Big King expecting something bigger than a Whopper. No, fucker smaller than a cheeseburger.
So it's one of those ironic nicknames, like
Yeah,
Little John.
It's like Big King, he's like making up for his erectile dysfunction or something, you know?
It's like, I've only got this much meat. If I call myself Big King, someone will think I'm huge.
Exactly. It's like calling, like, the big guy tiny.
Yeah. That's just fucking crazy shit.
That's why it's not there anymore. But you know what is still there right now? Probably won't be here by the time this video airs, which honestly might be today. I don't know. But they have, like, I don't even remember its name. It's an elongated burger.
Oh, yeah, the long burgers.
Yeah. You know what the long burger is?
2 burger patties on a chicken sandwich bun. Yeah, I tried one of those fucking train wrecks.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what those burgers are?
The rodeo burger.
Well, the burger patties themselves are what's fucking left over from the Big Kings.
But yeah, man, I went in there because they had the long Western burger, and I was like, holy shit, it's the rodeo burger. Because those were fucking awesome. Remember back in the day, we used to snatch those things up.
Yeah.
The Burger King right near your mom's house, and just go over there, like, $5 on the table. Yo, 4 rodeo burgers and a small shake, now. And then I added like 20 sugar packets to the milkshake.
Yeah.
Oh, those are good times.
Yeah, but yeah, I got one of those long burger things like the other day, and I like pulled it out of the bag, and it's like, what do you mean long burger? This is like, you know,
it's a long roll with 2 patties.
Yeah, it's like freaking like this much more than a Whopper if you compare to Whopper.
Now, for the price point, if you're just looking at it from a monetary standpoint, you know, regular size Whopper, long burger, but I was more disappointed with the fact that I thought I was getting a long rodeo burger, and instead I wound up with a couple of overlapping beef patties and like 3 onion rings and a crumbly, dry roll that just made me unhappy. Deeply depressing.
Yeah, you know another trend that's going out the window now. Finally, that's gonna be like out of nowhere soon. Pretzel buns.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, there's always something. It's like Wendy's has the brioche bun, and then everybody else has a brioche bun, and then Wendy's got a pretzel bun, and then everybody else has a fucking pretzel bun.
Yeah.
You know what I want? Sloppy Joes.
The Sloppy Joes.
Yeah, but not just any Sloppy Joes, man. I want Taco Bell Sloppy Joes. I actually thought of this a couple weeks ago when we had some leftover taco meat. I threw it on some bread, made a sandwich out of it. I was like, damn, Sloppy Joe taco style. That sounds awesome. And then I was reading an article online. Turns out Taco Bell did that shit in the 80s.
Yeah. Or go back to the 80s. People didn't give a fuck. You could get, you know.
Yeah, people were trying everything. Like cocaine.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't serve that in the fast food places back then.
You know, I'm just saying, with the popularity of certain, restaurants' fries, I don't think that's necessarily true.
Yeah. You know, over here we have a place called Pizza Plus. I don't know how far they actually extend, but, man, they make this ranch dressing that I swear they put cocaine into. Some good stuff.
Cocaine dressing.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know, man. This got me thinking about all that stuff. Like, back in the day, things were cool, and, I mean, given the opportunity, would you just trade in your 80s life to start over now as a kid? I mean, I don't think I'd want to do that.
Yeah, no.
I mean, granted, the toys are a little cooler as far as things they can do. Because, I mean, back in the day, we had those wrestling figures that were standing like this all the time.
Yeah, there's the little muscle guys or whatever those are called.
But not even the little ones. I had the ones that were like this big, the big, like, flexible plastic ones. Almost took somebody's fucking head off of one of those once. Kid pissed me off. I whipped it like a fucking boomerang. Caught him right in the side of the head.
Yeah, no, these days people have wrestlers that are, like, molded off of, like, actual, like,
Like, my rock figure is this tall, and it's copied off of Dwayne Johnson's body scan, and it's got the tattoo art intricately put on him. If this were the 80s, the rock toy would have just been like...
Yeah.
They would have had someone kind of make it look like his face.
Yeah, if they were lucky. There'd be The Rock, and then there'd be Ultimate Warrior, who looked exactly like that, except with face paint.
And a different skin color.
Yeah.
Because they mold the plastic in different colors.
Yeah. I had a Hulk Hogan, though, I remember, and I left him outside over the winter one year in Philadelphia. We had a snowstorm. When everything thawed in the spring, and I went out there, the plastic was green. He went from Hulk Hogan to a new He-Man figure.
Or to a different type of Hulk.
Yeah, that's true.
Hulk smash, brother!
Although all of his hair was also green too, so he's just totally green.
Huh. That's just weird.
Even his tights. I mean, it's all the same plastic, you know?
Yeah, I think, like, video games back in the day, man, I was excited as fuck for Super Mario Brothers, man. Fucking 2 buttons on the controller, and I'm fucking jump. No, don't run that way. Don't run this way. Jump, slow down, turn around. Now, you got all these other games. Like, if I were a kid now, I'd be fucking overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It's like the Wii and swinging the arms around and making shit happen.
And like new games, like remember like
We're turning into old people, you know that?
Yeah. Well,
I just noticed that when we were talking right now. Kids today and their Wii's and their PlayStations.
Stop playing with your Wii and go out and play ball.
Yeah, we used to run around the neighborhood and hit each other with sharp bits of rusty metal. That was a fun game.
That was like, remember we had the Frisbee? And we used to play Murder Disc with it, like it was sharpened along it.
Okay, so we have a Frisbee. It's chewed up all the fuck. The edges are destroyed. It's actually sharp enough to cut people. Neither one of us can catch worth a damn. I've got an idea. Let's try to kill each other with it and see what happens. Whoosh, slash, ow! Point.
I also had, that kid probably still has the scar going up the side of his face, but I had that hockey stick, do you remember, that was like broken and it was like jagged up, I used to play with in high school. It's like a plastic hockey stick, and that thing looked like a Sith.
I fucking destroyed people with that thing.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I wasn't allowed to play hockey after that, I remember. But yeah, I clipped the kid in the face and it went up his chin and he was all bleeding.
Good times, because, kids' toys today, everything's got to be safe. It's got to be safe for the kids. I had a 20-pound metal Tonka truck. Big fucking thing. Those are the kind of toys that if you play with them wrong, you don't play with them again, because you probably lost a limb or broken something.
Yeah.
Fucking kids and their plastic shit and the... Really? Old people. Old people. This is bullshit.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, toys, things used to be, I think things used to be better, honestly.
But that's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching those react videos, like, elders react to this new shit that scares them because it's new. And, yeah, it's really just the same thing over and over again. Oh, things were better when I was young because, men were men and women were women and television shows were more educational and, more positive. And it's like, damn, that's going to happen to everyone, isn't it? I mean, eventually, we're all, even today, the vapid 12-year-old girl that's watching Nicki Minaj videos, swearing up and down that she's a feminist, and she's going to be like, 80 years from now, like, these kids today, I remember when entertainment meant something. Nicki Minaj, she was a visionary.
But, people, each generation is getting more effeminate, which I'm scared when that girl is 80, what's going to be, what the world's going to actually look like. Everyone's going to be so PC that there's going to be...
Watch Demolition Man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of. Demolition Man. When you've got a bunch of people wandering around in, togas saying, be well, and being all happy with each other. That is hell.
Sandra Bullock in any kind of position of power.
Well, maybe if she were on top. That's one position of power.
Yeah, but all you'd be doing is wearing virtual reality helmets and,
Still counts. Because at that point, that was the standard for having sex. I mean,
yeah.
You could just put on that helmet, and the person next to you puts on their helmet. It's like, yeah, we did it.
Was there cloning? I mean, did they even really get into that?
What, cloning?
No, as far as, how they procreated, because they didn't touch each other.
Well, no, they said that, people who were allowed to breed, their materials were collected and screened and purified, and then they were combined, and then...
So it's sort of like just a test tube baby.
Yeah, more or less, like a graduated test tube baby. Like a beaker.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, eventually everybody's going to be so scared of tripping over everyone else's toes that nobody's going to do anything.
Yeah.
It's going to be a total lack of freedom. It is going to be a total lack of freedom that is everybody's choice.
Well, either that or, most of the people are just going to lay down because they have nothing better to do with all of their repressed anger, and they're just going to lay down and go to sleep, while 0.1% of the population will have their aggressor responses elevated and become reavers.
Yeah.
What? It's a perfectly good Firefly joke. Nobody.
Josh Whedon.
It's all about Joss Whedon. Fucking Joss Whedon is the spokesman for modern comic fans. And I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't actually read a new comic book in years.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since my dad stopped sending me comics that he was reading, I haven't read anything since.
Yeah.
At least not anything of any real value. I mean, I've gotten the Dresden Files comic books, which are pretty much just retellings of the novels with pictures. Looks cool, fun to read. But last I heard, they had Asgard floating over a farm in Kansas, and then it fell, and Norman Osborn and Hammer, the replacement for S.H.I.E.L.D., were trying to take over the place. Shit hit the fan, Thor killed the Sentry, and then it was just like, nah, fuck it, I'm done. This has gone too far.
Yeah, honestly, you know what I think? I don't think comics have changed as far as, like the past and the present or what have you. I just think we finally caught on to the bullshit after all those years.
Maybe. I mean, because there are still comic books that I would read and have read, and, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, I still get a kick out of that. I mean, that's a good, solid book. It's only 7 issues, and I've read them 100 times, but it's still cool. Milk and cheese, fucking randomest shit ever. It's literally like a couple of 2 or 3 page stories crammed into one bigger book. But as far as everything else goes, it's like trying to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Crossovers and shit. That's the big problem.
Yeah. But I mean, if you look at comics from the 70s, comics from the 80s, comics from the 90s, all the same characters more or less are just dying and then being resurrected. The series are all being rebooted so that they can set them up to all the same shit to happen again in the future, just with a couple different circumstances.
And you know what that says to me? That is a lack of faith in the consumer. I mean, I'm a fan of Spider-Man. I like reading Spider-Man comics. Haven't exactly gone out to buy some new ones because, it's gotten a bit wacky. But if they were to kill off Peter Parker and make a new Spider-Man, I'd probably still read that too. But then I'd feel like a dick because I'd be reading, The Miraculous Spider-Man, I get 12 issues in and I'm like, yeah, I'm really enjoying this series. And then all of a sudden Peter Parker's back from the dead because Marvel's afraid of losing fans if they don't, stay with exactly what's happening all the time.
Exactly. Ultimate Universe.
Spider-Man Red and Blue. Yeah, you heard me. Spider-Man in the different costumes and the clone saga. And is he a clone? Is he not a clone? Maybe he is. Is Ben Reilly going to be the new Spider-Man? No, he's not because the fanboys are bitches. Whiny little crybaby bitches.
Yeah,
Can't adjust to change, so they got to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, it's like this generation Spider-Man and the normal Spider-Man thing going on, if anybody ever fucking follows any of that stuff anymore, is basically, it's like, okay, we're not going to kill Spider-Man off this time and replace him with somebody else. We're just going to change his brain over with with Dr. Octopus for a while. Like, yeah, sure, it's permanent. Look, we gave him a new costume. That just shows how permanent it is.
Oh, spider robots, even more permanent, because, man, those are useful. Those will never go away.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck when Peter Parker came back did you just throw all that out?
Because that's not Spider-Man.
He doesn't want to be associated with that, but you know what? He probably tucked it away for that day when he wants to send a message.
Oh, shut up. Just shut up. Or the next time there's a movie out where he has to wear the black costume so people remember Venom existed.
Yeah. Even the Spider-Man movies, it's like, okay, the new Amazing Spider-Man movie. I really liked the change in his costume in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of iffy at first about it.
It looked good. I mean, it's different, and that's where the iffy comes from. It's like, they're changing something. What else are they going to change? Because, I don't know about you, but I've got post-Sam Raimi stress disorder.
Yeah.
Okay? That's me. Every time somebody says Venom, I start fucking twitching and shit.
And then dancing down the street.
I will bust this coffee mug over your head.
Yeah, but they had to pussy out, because all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, for no reason whatsoever, he's wearing the old costume again in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I mean, sure, his costume got, ripped up or what have you from the first one, but does that really warrant him with a completely new costume? And so in the second movie, with his costume being, kind of ripped up, is he going to have a different costume in the third movie? No.
See, but if it were me, and I was in charge of this, it'd be like, okay, well, his costume got fucked up in the first movie. You know what we're going to do? An even more different costume for the second one.
Yeah.
We're having him going all Batman and shit with the protective armor plates. Yeah, he's going to look more like Ant-Man, but who cares? He's got the Spider-Man mask. As long as he has the mask with the big eyes and the webs, show anybody the fucking Juggernaut in a Spider-Man mask, and they'll be like, who's that? Oh, that's Spider-Man. See the mask?
Or Deadpool if you don't add the webbing.
But if you don't want the webbing, then they're like, oh, that's Deadpool.
Exactly.
Why is he wearing the Juggernaut costume?
Like, he's been working out.
Deadpool's been hitting the gym. But yeah, I mean, it's just that simple. And they... if you look back at comic books, every couple of years they have to reboot the heroes to keep them in time when all these heroes should have been gone. I mean, Iron Man, as he started back in Korea, Vietnam?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, way back when, before any of us were born.
Yeah, but either way, the Iron Man that we're seeing now in comics, if it followed an actual timeline, should probably be Iron Man's grandchild, maybe even at this point.
Yeah, or at least someone who along the lines became Iron Man after the fact. Because, Captain America was defrosted back in the 70s. So, even if he was defrosted in his 20s, right now, he'd be rocking 60.
Yeah.
And it's like, Marvel wants to keep the times current so they can relate to the audience, but they want to just keep putting the characters okay, well, start over. Like, oh, Spider-Man started in the 80s. No, you know what? Fuck that. Start over. He started in the 90s. It's like, I liked the idea of Peter being a high school teacher.
Yeah.
That was badass.
And they had to go,
Don't even say it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, it is kind of stupid. I mean, there's a couple exceptions to that where they could have kept going, but they still would have had to have changed the world around them, like Superman, for instance.
Yeah.
Who it's indeterminate if he actually even
which is another
ages
thing.
anymore.
Yeah, okay, fine. Superman. What if he just doesn't age? Clark Kent stays the same age for like 20 years. People start getting suspicious. He quits his job at the Daily Planet, takes another job. Lois Lane starts getting old. He puts her in a retirement community, finds another reporter girlfriend.
Yeah, because, that's what I love about Superman, is that everything else changes, but he stays the same age.
Same age. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yeah, that's actually one of the things I liked about the Ultimates. Not even the Ultimates as the entire franchise of the comics, but just the Ultimate Avengers beginning the Ultimates. Which basically is, if you haven't bothered to keep up, the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah, pretty much. They took the first two Ultimate series from the Ultimate Universe, and they made the Avengers movie out of that.
Because in the Ultimates, the Chitauri show up, and they wreck shit, and the Avengers stop them. And in the Ultimates 2, Loki shows up with a bunch of monsters from Asgard and starts wrecking shit, making Thor think he's gone crazy. And, that's if you pretty much mash those two concepts together, you've got the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Also, Nick Fury with the eye patch, Samuel L. Jackson, straight out of the Ultimates. No bullshit.
Yep, all out of the Ultimate Universe.
They did that because they were like, hey, it'd be cool? Samuel L. Jackson is Nick Fury. And he was like, yes, that would be the coolest thing ever. Please use my face.
Although he looks more like Shaft now. If you saw their trailer for the second Avengers movie.
Oh, I thought that at the end of Avengers when he torched the thing and he had the thing. I was like, Shaft? I just thought Shaft was a Nick Fury prequel movie.
Yeah, I've mentioned that before.
A code name,
Yeah, if you want to watch the Nick Fury movie, because they've been talking about making one of those, watch Shaft.
Pretty much. You get to see Nick Fury beat up Batman. Because Batman's a racist.
If you didn't already know. Could you imagine how things would have been different if he was not homophobic? That would have been even worse.
That would have been.
Yeah, I'm thinking if he was xenophobic, I guess in that case, he's like I'm gonna share with them what I fear, like black people.
Oh. Oh my God.
I'm glad nobody actually watches these, because what I'm about to say is that he would have gone out dressed in blackface instead of wearing a Batman costume.
But still, that would not have been as bad as him running around naked with a chainsaw in his socks.
If he was wearing the utility belt, they could have made something out of that. It's how the whole Christopher Nolan thing should have ended. He just has a mental break, and it turns out there was no Batman the whole time. He's just running through Gotham City. Yeah,
basically, after he confronted that gangster, he went on that ship and went crazy between beatings and gang rapings. And, he's just sitting in a mental institution making this shit up as he goes along. That's the end of the Batman right there.
Yep, which is pretty much the end of American Psycho, and also the end of The Machinist.
Spoilers?
Spoilers. Spin the world backwards.
And spoilers.
You know what to do. Well, I think we've been running for about...
It's been about a half an hour, just random bullshit.
Yeah, about a half an hour of just random bullshit. Maybe some of this stuff we'll get more into details about
later. Maybe if we remember to come back to it. I mean, this is unscripted, off the cuff. I grabbed a cup of coffee, sat down, and we just started talking about some shit. I wanted to talk about the fast food stuff, and then we started getting into the toys, and, the Batman, and the... Yeah. But
so tune in next time, because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. We're just going to sit here, turn a camera on, and just start bullshitting.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Can we do that effect?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of our show. Hey, if you're actually still watching to this point, which you're probably not, leave a comment down below in case you have a suggestion on what you think our show should be called, and maybe we'll listen because you'll probably be the only comment.
And also, if you're really merciful, you can like or subscribe. because people just ask for people to do that. I don't think we're really worthy of that right now, but why not? Be the first person, jump on the bandwagon.
Plus, we have like over 100 episodes already. If you kind of look back and you like the kind of health and fitness thing, and
Just watch every episode with Happy Man and the Professor. Everything else is just boring.
yeah, it's not boring.
Unless you want muscles, then it's all cool.
You know, if you want to be healthy,
Ish.
if you follow my advice.
Ish.
All right, thanks for watching.
For real this time.